If fear or despair, both of which are in our nature, should crush you or cause you never to return, then please, live on. Do not accompany us into our doom, to languish forgotten in the snow. When the Skyfrost Nail fell upon the verdant mountain and brought icy death to the kingdom of Salvandagnar, a foreign hero stepped up to save them. His name was Imunlaukr, friend to the princess. His quest, though I can't be sure, seems to have been to retrieve a branch of the world tree, and on his journey he encountered abyssal monsters, but that is all we know about the journey itself. It's unimportant, because what matters is that he failed. He returned too late, and as the people died waiting for him, they cursed him as having abandoned him. When he finally did make it back, he was greeted by ringing deathly echoes in the halls. There are some great lines in the Imunlaukr lore, I'm talking about some zingers. He left the Star Silver Sword for us to discover, and descended the mountain in search of a land full of war and strife. A place he might paint red with blood. No, I'm telling you, the imagery in Snowtome Starsilver especially. You who dwell in the heavens, you must wish for naught but to watch our ashen suffering here below. In that case, let me help you pass the time with a song of iron and blood. In his grief, he thought that the gods were entertained by human suffering, that we only exist as drama for their entertainment. That bitterness drove him to seek out battle, and when he founded the Imunlaukr clan amidst the ice and snow of what we now call Stormbear, they inherited his sorrow. His people were warmongers who fought for the gods' entertainment. Their duty and entire purpose in life was to shed blood so that the gods could enjoy their pain, until Venti reshaped the land and they found something worth fighting for. Other than being a tragic hero and a main character in the beautiful lore of Dragonspine, Imunlaukr is notable for his contribution to the timeline. Since his descendants were well established as a clan by the time Venti became the Anemo Archon, we know that the Skyfrost Nail dropped before or during the Archon War. Due in part to the murals that we discover with the Snowtome Starsilver, I actually believe that the Skyfrost Nail marked the beginning of the Archon War, but that has less to do with Imunlaukr and everything to do with the Prayer's tiaras, so I think I'll save those for another time. This is a flower of Everfrost, plucked by a pair of gentle hands. It must have given a certain someone the strength to see winter as a warm embrace. This fourth fresco is prepared for you. Your likeness will forever remain on this wall. For the sake of that fresco, and for everyone's sake, I will wait for you and pray for your return. The maiden stood before a blank wall, and smiling, she pinned a small flower to the hero's breast. That was an elegant and unruffled fellow, who would never bat an eyelid, not even in the face of death itself. The heroism of Icebreaker was forgotten, buried in the storms of the north. Since then, the snow has melted, but this flower has not withered. For the outlander who once searched for hope in midwinter on another's behalf, even the glass he drank from was carved out of ice. Drinking bitter wine in this glass would feel like swallowing icicles that stung every inch of one's throat. Ordinary people would struggle to enjoy the sensation, but the reticent hero relished in it. He was a warrior as silent as the ice itself, blocking the frigid winds that descended from the stars with his body. But not content with merely being protected, the maiden who painted left the man she admired these last instructions. If fear or despair, both of which are in our nature, should crush you or cause you to never return, then please live on. Do not accompany us into our doom, to languish forgotten in the snow. Taking another swig of bitter wine to steel himself for the journey, he turned away from the maiden's wet eyes, and he would set out on an unending pursuit towards the land of snow and profundity. A feather of a bird of prey that did not originally belong in the winter chill. It's cold to the touch. And when you do touch it, it's as if you can hear cries in the snowstorm, unbowed but bereft of hope. With no nest or shelter, the bird faced the storms proudly. This feather has been assailed with coalescing ice and snow, leaving it coated in pearls of frost. It once came from a falcon in flight and was plucked violently from that bird by the frigid winds. It drifted a while in the air before the weight of the frost dragged it back down to the ground. I believe that the lively birds will follow you and return to the gardens of the summer palace, now green once more. those who have been chased away by the chilling tide, and those children who have lost their homes. They will return with you to the home of their dreams. The hero, bearing such great burdens on his back, halted in the whipping snow, struggling to discern the color of that feather. Sealed in ice, that color's feather faded every step of the way, just like the hero's task. An ancient hourglass with fine powdered snow flowing in it. Even the coldest winter cannot freeze the flow of time. The cold that descends from the sky can freeze time itself. This myth was widely believed throughout the entombed mountain city. As the hero reached the top of the wall of wind and ice, the night was descending and the snowstorm was howling. Neither sun nor moonlight could pierce this white wind easily. Even the bleakest storm cannot freeze the river of time that will not wilt even if buried deep below the snow. And even the most formidable hero will one day be forgotten. The hero set out on his journey, bearing the tiny hopes that the entombed city still had for salvation. Donning his winter crown, he marched purposefully away, disappearing into the boundless snowstorm. Bearing his agreement with the mountain city, bearing their clear-eyed gazes, the hero never once feared the unknown behind the icy curtain. The once lush mountainside and the blessings that now no longer fell from the skies. These were the hero's motivation to carry on, no matter what. Past the sealed door, walking down the corridors to the depths, he will break off a branch of silver white and bring hope to the snowy land. The maiden sang these songs to comfort her people, and she nursed her memories of him. She believed he would return to her, with genial springtime and unshakable hope in his train. But in the end, the hero who stepped out into the snow would not return in time. He would stand accused of flight by hateful words long ground to dust amid the snowstorms. When the verdant city was sealed by cloud and mist, when the unending snowstorms blotted out the clear moonlight, when all life and every interrupted story was pierced by that nail that fell from the azure skies, the priest's daughter gave the star-silver greatsword to the hero from another land. In the howling wind and snow, her words could not reach their intended target. This fourth fresco is prepared for you. Your likeness will forever remain on this wall. For the sake of that fresco, and for everyone, I will wait for you and pray for your return. When the daughter of that snow-entombed city withered together with the grafted yet barren silver branches, the outlander destined to wield this sword to shatter ice and snow alike was far afield, chasing answers. Bright as the moonlight though she was, her final words, too, would never reach that wayfarer. It's been a while since I last saw the blue sky and the green grass. I don't know which hues to use to capture the landscape of thawing ice and snow that my father so longs for. I wish I could see you again. This was the answer he found. The hero ended his fruitless journey at last, tainted black blood dripping from the blade of his great sword as he trudged through now foreign snowy paths. But when he returned to the great hall of that mountain country, naught but ringing deathly echoes welcomed him. So even here, there's nothing left for me to protect. You who dwell in the heavens, you must wish for naught but to watch our ashen suffering here below. In that case, let me help you pass the time with a song of iron and blood. The outlander left the star silver originally meant to shatter snow and wind alike between the frescoes. Then he descended the mountain to search for a land full of war and strife, a place he might paint red with blood. On the cliff facing the eastern sea, the ancestors worshipped the masters of time and animo together. The two are intimately related, as expressed in the saying, "Animo brings stories while time nurtures them." The sword tells a story of war, and was used in the enactment of war tales. Originally just a prop, its blade has been hardened by the passage of time. It once belonged to the Imunlaukr clan, a clan of brave and gifted warriors who fought hard and died young. In sacrificial ceremonies, they would enact duels between brave warriors stained black with blood. In the eyes of the Imunlaukr clan, combat existed not for protection, for glory, or for gaining territory. Rather, it was for the amusement of the gods, high up in the heavens, for whom little else could serve to entertain. Monsters and outlaws, they fought them all the same, with no regard for whether this time they would return to their beloveds afterwards, for none of that mattered. What mattered was to roar, loud and clear in the heat of bloody battle. That was duty fulfilled. Such hot blood running through the veins should not have been conducive to a long history for the Imunlaukr clan, for their fight was one without end and without hope of victory. And yet, as the snow slowly melted and Mondstadt began to take shape, gradually they realized they had found something to fight for at last.